Hey guys, so, we got a new filming spot at Nor My Messy Hair I Had Dance. I wanted to make today's video. Well, it could be a story time slash Q&A that with questions I came up with because I sleepover style it and stuff and this, like so many things. But anyways, we put our old couch in here and we, by we, I mean my dad did in almost all of it. And we took the mattress out and stuff because I sleep over style it and I love the couch. It's super comfortable and I brought it in here because we had nowhere else to put it, and the mattress was not a big deal. We could just put it in the attic because we got a new couch and it's like a bluish teal color and I love it. It is farther back, like the cushions aren't as thick. And it's only run it's this is super thick and far out. With the new one it's not. And it's one cushion, not two, at the bottom because this one is two. And whenever I sit in the middle of it, because that's kind of like the best sitting spot, the cushions go from this to this, like it sinks in. And my mom likes things to be more put together. So our new couch, we don't have that problem. I'm trying a new setting on the ring light, and it's not really a new setting, it's always been a setting, but I never filmed with it, and I'm kind of loving it because it's giving me like a sunset vibe, and it's really nice, and I feel like it's not really, I'm gonna turn it. Okay. I want to see if it would make any form of difference, but kind of doesn't. So you're coming back down here. I feel like this better. So I want to do a bunch of questions. I came up with Q&A questions, and make sure you like, subscribe, turn on those post notifications. The first question is why do I came up with all of these, by the way. Why haven't I moved on from my crush? And I'm trying to do some that I wouldn't usually answer, and some that I would, and some detailed questions. So this one I came up with because I realized it's 3 years since I've seen my crush. And I have not moved on from him yet. And there is kind of a reasoning behind that. And I usually wouldn't answer this. Usually I just would avoid the question, but I am forcing myself to just put the answer out there. Which is, I'm the type of person where if I kind of, here's the thing. There's a lot to explain. And I haven't moved on from him yet because there's no point. And what I mean by that is I'm the type where if you dream big enough and you never give up on that dream, that dream, if it's something you dream of doing, then if you put the work in, it will happen. If you work hard enough, one day it will happen. And if it's something that I cannot, if it's like dreaming of someone to come back in your life, I kind of believe, I say kind of just so many times, but I kind of feel like that in a way I'm facing the fact that I may never see him again, and as hard as that is, that's true, but I'm also at the point of realizing that he never did anything to make me not like him. And the reason I say this has a story, I'll get to that in a minute, I'm fine, and I'm just gonna keep dreaming and hoping that he will come back into my life one day, and unless he physically does something to make me not like him, there's no point in me moving on. And it's not that I can't, it's that I choose not to. Now, the reason this has story behind it is, what kind of leads to the next question, which is question number 2, which is, did I lie when I came out? So what I mean is, when I came out and made a whole, here's the thing, and when I came out and actually made a whole video of my coming out story, that situation, did I lie about moving on from my crush? The answer to that is, I kind of don't know. I didn't mean to, and I personally, yes, I tried to move on from him, and it's not that let me explain it this way. I did not purposely lie, and I don't think I actually lied. What happened was, I kind of had referenced and kind of known that I like boys and girls, both, and that I was gonna one day come out. That was something that, when JoJo first came out, JoJo Siwa, I really went this is kind of cool. I didn't really put second thought to it, and then more people, I feel like more social media, another social media influencer, came out, which is one of JoJo's friends, Rachel Ballinger, and I wanted, in a way, that made me think about what am I, because I never put a label on it, and I never went oh, I'm straight, oh, I'm not, so I put thought into that, and then I realized I like boys and girls, my person is my person. And then I thought about more, and I actually referenced in one of my music videos, and I think I referenced in a couple of videos, but I never did a coming out story until this later time period. And the thing with it was, I had a crush who was a boy, and so I'm it's not that oh, I have a crush on a boy, I can't come out. That was never a thing. It was that I put more thought into it and realized I had pretty much had either an actual crush or a fake crush since I was 3.5 years old. And what I mean by that is when I was around 3.5 years old, I thought I had a crush on someone. And this lasted, I want to say at least up until I met my crush. And it was nothing more than a friendship. Sorry if that person is watching. Sorry I just friend zoned you and you were hoping we would be more, but unfortunately it was friends. And I don't even, I look back on it and I'm I think it was just me being a toddler thinking, oh, it's trendy and cool to have a crush. And I never said anything to this person, and I kind of at the time regretted not saying anything, and now I'm happy I didn't say anything because, again, it was nothing more than a friendship, and it took my crush to make me realize that. Because I never felt anything with the one boy. He's not horrible, have nothing up against him, but it was nothing more than a friendship, and I don't even think it was much of that. I literally knew nothing about the person, and the most extreme thing that I ever did with the person was 1 year. I don't remember what, but I think like me or like one of my parents or something like found out that was like his birthday or something, and we like bought like this toy monster truck and we left it in his cubby. Then what I mean by that is I went to a like preschool type place. And so yeah, and that was where it was kind of at, and like and so like so at that place we would all have like cubbies in like cubby bins, and then like everyone had a cubby bin and they had a mailbox. So our mailbox was we would put artwork that like whenever we would do artwork and stuff, we could put it in our mailbox to like I store until it was time to go home so we could take it home. And then our cubby was actually only it had like a change of clothes in it, and then that was about it. Like it literally had like a change of clothes in it because like it's like preschool and stuff. So like yeah. And then occasionally like they would like put like a fun surprise in it for us or us. So yeah, and by that I mean one time they did that, and all it was literally just a thing of toothpaste and a toothbrush. And oh wait, no, it wasn't. At one point, when it was kind of similar. At one point, they like surprised us with like the whole like toothbrush set. So it was like a character like thing, and it had like a little like it was a stand that had a spot in the back, and it came with a toothbrush that you could put in the back, and then it came with a little like cup with like a character. Mine was like Dora the Explorer or something, and that like you could set on it, and then you had a spot in the like back that you could put a little thing of toothpaste, and they gave us a little like travel toothpaste. So like yeah, so nothing more came from that, and so finally I realized I met my crush, and that's when I realized I never had any feeling for this other person. Like, literally, my only thought was, oh, he's not a horrible person. He seems kind of nice. And one time, me and my parents, we gave him, like, a monster truck or something. And, and truthfully, I don't think he ever knew it was from me. But literally, me and my parents were in the store one day, and we brought up how, my mom was like, oh, why don't you pick out, like, a little, like, toy car or a toy truck, for, like, his birthday or something. And not think, my parents knew nothing at the time about me thinking I had a crush on him. And then I picked out this little, like, black monster truck with, like, little flames on the side. And we, like, put in his, like cubby bin. And that was like that, So, yeah, then I met my crush. And then that leads to the next question. And, well, I want to clear this up first. So, when I, decided and to actually come out, I went I never experienced not having a crush. So I literally decided I'm gonna get over my crush and I'm gonna come out and I can make a YouTube video. I literally filmed a YouTube video, walked out after I got uploaded, and went I'm over my crush. And my person is my person. And that was how I came out to my parents. And then I want to say not even 2 days later, I went I thought about it and I realized there's no point in me moving on from my crush. I was I was doing it to experience not having a crush, but that's so hard when I still had a crush on him. It was I wasn't, like, trying to lie and be like, I don't have a crush, like, to get attention and to come out. But with that, I literally, my thoughts and feelings were the exact same. And so, and I feel like what made me realize that was taking everything out of my life that, like, related to him. And what I mean by that is, like, I have a lot of things around my room. Like, I have, like, literally right now, there's a W on my wall. Like, there's a painting in my room right now that I did, and personally I feel like it's my best. And it's literally a painting that I did years ago of me and my crush on the beach, sitting on a black bench. Like, I'm trying to think, but, like, throughout my room there's just little, like, here and there things that, like, I reference, like, oh, like a W or something here and there. And then, okay, I took it down. Let me check. Okay, I don't know where I put it, but I think, oh wait, yeah, that's right. For a second, I remembered I have a W somewhere else, and then I realized when I was taking down and, like, making the squad wall, all of that, it got ripped, so I threw it away. But, like, anyways, like, literally there's so much stuff in my life reference towards him. Like, literally my dog's middle name is his name. Yeah, that's embarrassing to admit, but it is. So, like, I realized as I was taking it all, like, out of my life, and, like, I named everything, like, after him. And what I mean by that is, I even tried naming our, like, Christmas angel. What I mean is, like, my parents have, like, the tree topper, and it's an angel, and in our house we name, like, if it's, like an angel or something, we name it, like, and they do it because it lights up, and it's, like, it just looks good on our tree. And I tried naming our, like, Christmas angel. My mom was like, so, are you gonna, I'm like, well, actually what happened was, I was like, we need to name her, and my mom's like, okay, what should we name her? And I'm like, I said my crush's name, and she's like, we are not naming. And she's like, you name everything after that name, and the name, like, his name gets used so much in our house. I feel like I try to name everything that I possibly can give a name to. Like, it was like a thing. So, and then we settled with our names combined. And my mom said, because it sounded like a reasonable name, they didn't realize that it still was a win on my end. So, like, yeah. So it wasn't that, like, and that literally sounds like I cannot move on from him, but that's not true. And then I can if I really want to. There was just no point. The next question that I came up with is, why do I have such a big crush on my crush? And I also want to, like, kind of turn this into, like, all the things we have in common, like, that sort of thing. First up, one thing, this got answered the other day. I never really put thought into this, and I never knew the answer to this. Is about ADHD. Do I have it? Because someone once told me, I'm not going to say who it was, but a family member, I'll say that much, once told me there was over time, like, I wasn't really sure. Like, I heard talk about maybe having it, maybe not, like that situation. I didn't know. Turns out, the other day me and my dad were talking about the squad, and I went like, oh, like, I found out Em has it, Leb Cameron, and go subscribe, turn on your post notifications, and stuff. I'm like, and my dad's like, well, you have ADD. So basically, it's the same thing I found out. It's the same thing, I'm just not hyper. Or, well, I feel like I have a lot of energy, but I can control my energy. And I use my energy in, like, dance. Mm-hmm. So, like, me and my crush, I feel like we have a lot in common, and I'm not gonna dig or, like, really say too much of that because of the fact that, like, I kind of want that to be his choice one day, and, like, I get lucky and find him, and, like, it will be up to him if he wants to put our relationship out there. If we one day find each other and we one day have a relationship. Dreams, that's one of my dreams, but I don't know that, like, it's the sort of thing where, like, if one day I find him and, like, find out, like, oh, like, and I tell him because I'm gonna tell him if I find him, made that mistake I'm not doing, and it too many times. But, like, and he's like, okay, like, and we actually, like, if one day we start dating or something and I find him, then that will be his choice. If he doesn't want our relationship out there, then that, like, I'm 100% fine with that. If he chooses to, then maybe I won't put everything out there. Like, I'm not gonna put, like, every single detail of, like, oh, whenever we're, like, hanging out and stuff out there, like, no, like, you guys don't need to be involved in my entire life. Like, what I mean by that is, like, nothing inappropriate, or, let me specify. What I mean by that is, like, there will never, like, nothing inappropriate, but what I'm saying is that, like, every single time we hang out together, I may not post, like, something like, oh, I'm hanging out with my boyfriend, like, that situation. And, like, some of it I might choose to post, and I may not to. And if he wants nothing to do with my social media life, then that's his decision, and I will respect that. But I feel like he's amazing, and at first I kind of realized something. A mistake that's kind of embarrassing. Well, not kind of embarrassing, big time embarrassing. So, I have a couple songs out. And one of them, actually a couple of them, reference towards how I love his looks. This is embarrassing. Like, looks are not everything to me. Yes, he doesn't look horrible. Looks pretty decent. But this is embarrassing. I realized the song, well, a couple of them, never, like, they kind of reference toward personality and that sort of stuff, but it's kind of about looks. And then I was thinking about that, and I'm like, I literally, actually in a couple of the songs, I kind of say he looks hot. Not being, like, inappropriate and not trying to, I literally went like, it's just something bold that makes the sound different. I kind of take that back now. Not to be rude to him, it's because I realized his twin brother looks exactly like him. So if I'm saying he looks, if I'm saying he looks good, his twin brother looks good. Yeah, I take back some of that stuff. Like, I'm like, that, like, it's true, and I take that, like, say, not that, like, there's nothing up against that, but at this point for me, looks are like the last thing I think of. Like, I'm gonna like say that what I generally look for, or is personality. That's like the biggest thing for me. Second off, if he's nice. Like, well, if they're nice. Like, I look for someone that's nice with a good personality, and then someone that's not, like, someone that's not gonna, like, use a bunch of bad language, and someone that also knows how to trust, if that makes sense. Not too much, but, like, enough. What I mean by that, like, someone that doesn't obsess over, or if I'm looking at another, like boy or something on social media like that. I look for that, like someone that's not gonna freak out over that, unless it's like I'm constantly looking at this one boy, I'm constantly talking about this one boy, like someone that can trust me enough to know that I only like them, like in that way. Now, here's kind of, I want to answer, kind of continue with this, is that I want to answer the question of why did I delay to my come out? Because I want to say this really quickly. Me and my crush, like, first up, I love everything about him. Generally, he's generally the nicest person I have ever met. Like, he's so nice, and I love that because like, he showed me that, like, if one day we do date, that we can have that trust. But also where I have to understand that trust is there. And what I mean by that is because of the fact that he showed me the one day, because that I have to understand he's gonna be nice to everyone. Whether he like actually like likes them as like he wants to date them or not. And I say this because like this one day, he was helping this one little girl at music class because she like couldn't hold her cup. And like we were having like a water break, and he was over there holding her cup. Like he's always been good at like including everyone and being nice to everyone. So that's something that like, and that's something is that like with me, like that trust is definitely important because of the fact that like I do follow like a lot of like boys and stuff on social media. Don't worry, like nothing bad. Like what I mean by that is like the squad. There's Jensen and Lem. And then there's Lion. They're squad members, but Lion not officially, but he does stuff with the squad. Like it's the sort of thing where usually it's related to either like the squad or it's like a boy that like was in like a show that like I watched, like Chicken Girl or something. Or I'm trying to think. Really, that's all I can think of. Oh wait, and there is or it's like Brady from Dance Mom. It's like either they were in a show that I watched and I love, or they're related to like the squad in some way, or they do videos with the squad, or they want did videos with the squad, like that sort of thing. So trust is very important. But for me, like the next question that kind of referenced toward why it took so long for me to come out, like part of that was because in a way, it was almost like I have a crush on a boy, and I don't want people like getting the wrong idea and thinking, oh, like dating, like I'm down to date, like that situation. Because here's how I put it. Yes, as I'm bi. I like boys and girls. No, I do not have interest in dating anyone other than my crush. yes, I think that's how it should be, because it shows me that, like, I'm not just gonna, like, someone new's gonna come, and I'm just gonna, like, forget about my crush and act like that was nothing. Like, or if, like, me and my crush were dating, or one day date, like, that, like, randomly, like, some other, like, person's gonna come, and I'm just gonna, like, break up with my crush for literally just, I never want to be like a player or something, and what I mean is like I never will like break up with my crush just because someone new came. Just to like try to date them. Like no what I mean what I'm trying to say is that like it shows me that like, and it's my way of like telling myself that like I'm not gonna just move on from him for literally no reason, and I'm not gonna be a player or cheat on my crush. So yeah, I'm gonna say peace out. But I'm just gonna say peace out. So hopefully this cleared up some stuff. I'm thinking I might do like a part 2 to this like tomorrow, because I really like doing this like Q&A and kind of just chatting with you. And I love everything about my crush. I generally like, he literally is perfect for me, I feel like, because and I'm just saying this, is that I'm the type of person where when I set my mind to something, it's hard to change my mind. And what I mean by that is that, like, for me, if I decide I don't want to do something, then, like, yes, my parents can tell me, like, oh, you gotta do this. And then I'll, like, do it. But when it comes to, like, just, like, me, like, saying, like, having a fear of something for no reason, it's hard for people to change my mind into like not having that fear or just getting me to face that fear, sort of thing. And with my crush, that's something that he has always been really good at, is just like getting me to like do it, and then realizing it's not as bad as I thought it was, but it's still being a fear. Peace out.